If you want to feel strong, motivated, and capable without running on adrenaline or feeling exhausted, this practice will be perfect for you. Sometimes we fully burn out. I know I have. And then other times we don't actually reach full burnout. Instead, we just start living in that in-between place where we're still functioning, but we're never really fully fueled. And then your lower back may feel tired, or just your back in general. Your motivation can fluctuate, or maybe you rely on pressure or control to get things done. So in this 30-minute intermediate practice, we'll activate and strengthen the kidney and bladder meridians. And this will help build resilience and steady energy that's stored in our deeper energy reserves. So instead of forcing energy, we'll cultivate it. And instead of powering through, we'll build inner support. So you can let this be a practice where you feel strong, but not because you're pushing harder, but because you're moving from a steadier, deeper supported place from within yourself. All right, let's come into child's pose. So come onto the back of your mat. You can sit on your heels, and you can have your knees out wide or have them together, whichever is most comfortable for you. Walk your arms out as you keep reaching your hips toward your heels. Let your forehead rest down onto your mat. And you can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you right now. And let your breath move into your back. Feel a release through your hip flexors, your psoas. As we'll be working more with the psoas and the back body in this practice, working with the bladder channel, the psoas that can hold a lot of stress. And maybe you're feeling into your inner thighs as well, the spleen channel running up through the inside of the legs, up into the abdomen that we'll be working with as well. Now on your next inhale, you can roll forward through a cat position. So you're drawing your chin in toward your chest, taking your weight into your hands and knees, and then bring your knees hip width apart. And exhale, look forward, lift up through your tailbone, moving through a cow, coming all the way back into child's pose. Once again, inhale, round out through the back, lift up through the belly as you roll forward. And exhale, look forward, lift up through the tailbone. Exhale, back into child's pose. One more time. Inhaling forward. And exhaling, opening up into cow, coming all the way back into child's pose. Now inhale, come forward onto the hands and knees and continue taking your weight forward. Bend through your elbows, lower all the way down onto your belly. Take your hands out so the shoulder width apart and the fingertips are pressing down into the ground. Now on an inhale, roll up into a cobra, opening up through the chest. Exhale, roll down through the spine. A few more times, inhaling as you open through the chest, open up through the front body, and exhale, releasing, creating space through the spine. Two more times. Just warming up through the spine. And we get some compression for the kidneys as we come into these back bends. Activation through the bladder channel, through the back body. Now when you come down, let's take the arms back alongside the torso, reaching back through the arms so much that the upper body comes up off of the mat. If you want to come into Shalabhasana, you can lengthen the legs up off of the ground, compressing through the kidneys. And if you want to move with this, you can inhale, take your legs out wide, and exhale, bring the legs in. Now continue that motion, inhaling legs out, exhaling legs in. And if you want to take more movement with this, you can continue the motion with the legs as you slowly take your arms up, overhead, along the ears, And then reversing that, strengthening the kidneys, strengthening through the back body. Release the legs down, bring your hands to both sides of the chest, draw the elbows in and down, and you can roll through the spine, pressing into your hands to come back, tuck your toes, and make your way into downward dog. Taking any movement that feels good here, so opening up through the back body, the bladder channel running all the way from the pinky toes out through the outside of the ankles and up through the calves, the back of the legs, through the lower back, the entire back, up through the neck and through the scalp into the forehead. Just feeling that connective tissue. Feeling a lift up through the inner thighs, up through the inner legs, so the kidney channel is strong and activated. On an inhale, look to your hands. Exhale, step or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Now on an inhale, lengthen through the spine. And exhale, round out through the back into a cat position. Inhale, lengthen through the spine into a cow position. Exhale, round out through the back, drawing the chin in toward the chest. 2 more times, inhaling. Exhaling. Last time, inhaling, lengthening, and exhaling, opening through the back body. Now go ahead, release into Uttanasana. Take your hands into your elbows and release through the back body. Feel the elbows release down, the weight of the skull release down. The brain can be heavy here. And the heavier the head is, the more that can create a release through the entire back line. Now you can let go of the elbows. On an inhale, let's come all the way up to stand, long through the legs, through the spine. Inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Step your left foot back. We're going to come into a low lunge. So lengthen through the spine. Draw back through your back heel and work your inner thighs toward the center line of the body of the mat. Now you can begin to press down through your front foot so you lengthen through the right leg. You can walk your hands back a bit to support you and fold over your right leg as much as is comfortable. If you're tight through your hamstrings or you have shorter hamstrings, you can take a micro bend in your knee. And we're keeping the right foot flat onto the ground. First, just opening up through the front of the ankle. And now let's flex through the ankle. Drawing the toes back, the ball of the foot back, deepening the activation and opening through the back of your right leg. And then you can bring the foot back down, bend through the knee, take the hands back out so you're in a low lunge. And now you can press off of your back foot. We're going to bring that foot in just a bit to come up to stand. So your feet are set up for Parsvottanasana. Let's take the hands onto the hips. And first square out the hips. So you're drawing your right hip back, your left hip forward, and you're anchored down through the 4 corners of both feet. Now fold forward, feeling your hips hinge underneath your hands, and keep pressing down and back through your right foot, sending your right hip back, feeling long through the back of your right leg. And then you can take your hands down to the mat, feeling into the opening through the back of your right leg. Keep drawing the inner thighs in toward each other. Keep this active through the spine, drawing the shoulders into the back. And now you can bend through your right leg, and let's reach back through the arms to come into a warrior three. Now soften through your standing leg. Let's come back into a high lunge, coming onto the ball of your back foot. And now open through your hips so much that the back knee comes down onto the mat. Open up here into a crescent lunge and continue releasing the hips down. Now you can bring your left hand down to the mat, reach back through your right arm, take a hold of your left foot with your hand. And you can twist into this looking over your right shoulder. Press your left foot into your hand and release. Do that a few times, activating through the muscles and releasing, creating more space through the front of your thigh, into the psoas, into the hip flexors. And now you can let go of the foot, and let's come into an Ardha Hanumanasana. So lengthening through your right leg, walking your hands back, and then folding over your right leg. And perhaps you can notice that as you create space through the back of your leg, you can create more space up through the back, up through the spine. Now you can stay here. If you want to take this a little further, you can tuck your back toes and slide your right leg out to come into Purna Hanumanasana. Saying hello to your hamstrings, hello to the front of your left hip. And now you can press into your back foot, bring your right foot in, and let's come into a standing split. So you're going to take your hands out in front of you and then take your left leg straight up. You can wrap your right hand around the heel. Let your nose move toward your knee. And release, bringing the left foot down, folding over both legs. You can bend one knee at a time. On inhale, come all the way up to stand, arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward. Now step your right foot back, coming onto the ball of the foot, and we'll come into a low lunge. So draw the inner thighs in toward the center line of your mat, center line of your body, kind of zips up through the core, lengthens through the spine. And then from here, you can press down into your left foot to send the hip back and lengthen through the leg. You can walk your hands back and then just feel into this opening through your left leg, keeping the left foot flat onto the ground. And now you can draw the heel, flex through the ankle, bringing the ball of the foot back, deepening the activation and opening through the bladder channel, through your left leg. And now you can bend through your front knee and press off of your back foot. So you're going to bring the right foot in so your feet are set up for Parsvattanasana. And let's first come up to stand. Taking your hands onto your hips and rotating your back hip forward, your left hip back. Lifting up through the quadriceps, grounding down through the four corners of both feet. And then from there, hinging at the hips, continue drawing the inner thighs in toward each other, and then press back through your front foot, sending the left hip back. Keeping space through the spine. And then take your hands down to the ground and breathe into this opening. Now you can bend through your front leg. We're going to come into a warrior three. So reach back through your arms and come to balance on your left leg. And you're long through both legs. You're long through the spine. From here, we'll transition back into a high lunge, coming onto the ball of your right foot, taking your arms up. Now keep opening up through your hips, so much that they continue moving down toward the ground. The back knee comes down. Release your right hand down, take a hold of your back foot with your left hand, and then look back over your shoulder and press your foot into your hand and release. Do that a few times where you activate through the muscles and then you release. So this is a great way to train the muscles to lengthen and heighten your awareness between activation and ease. Yeah, and of course this can translate to off of the mat into life. The more we practice, the more we fine-tune our awareness and how we relate to ourselves, how we can support ourselves, not only in our physical practice, but in our life. Now go ahead, let go of the foot, unwind, and let's come into Ardha Hanumanasana, lengthening through your left leg, walking your hands back, folding over your left leg, and drawing the ball of your left foot back. So this is a strong activation through the bladder channel, through the back of your left leg, and notice if you feel an opening through the back of your knee, up through the thigh, maybe down through your calves, maybe into the ball of your foot. Now, if you want to come into full Hanumanasana, you can take that option. Otherwise, you can stay here, or you can come back into the hip flexor opening. If you want to come into Purna Hanumanasana, you can bend through the front knee, tuck your back toes, and then slide your front foot out. And if you have tighter hamstrings, and maybe on one side, like I do, you can work with this activation and release technique here. So taking a micro bend through the knee, and then activating through the quadriceps to help lengthen the hamstrings. And now let's transition into a standing split. So bring your back knee in if it isn't already. Bring your left foot down flat onto the mat, and then reach and walk your hands out in front of you and take your right leg up. And I'll leave it up to you. If you want to open up your hips, it definitely takes your right leg up higher. If you keep the hips square, keeping the inner thighs in toward each other, it intensifies the opening and deepens the opening through the back of your left leg. If you want to wrap your left hand around your heel, draw your nose in toward your knee, you can take that option. And I'll go ahead, release, bringing your right foot down, fold forward into Uttanasana. And you can bend through one knee at a time. You can sway the hips a little bit. You can shake the head out yes and no. On inhale, come all the way up to stand, taking your arms up overhead. Exhale. Bring your hands down into prayer. Let your eyes close. Take a few breaths here. Now you can bring your hands down into Tadasana and shift your weight over onto your left leg. We're going to bring the right knee up, and you can interlace your fingers and draw this knee up. Now you can stay here. If at any point with these balances, you can use a wall to help you balance. If you have a longer hamstrings and you want to work with a deeper opening in the hamstrings, as we've been doing, you can hook your big toe, take your left hand onto your hip, and then lengthen out through the leg. If you have a hold of your big toe, see if you can draw the outside of the mound of the foot back as well. And now we're going to take the leg out wide, externally rotating through the hip. If you have a hold of the knee, take the knee out wide. Lifting up and grounding down through your left leg. And then you can bring the leg back to the center. Release. Come back into Tadasana. And let's bend the knees and come onto the top of the left foot, opening up through the front of the ankle and releasing, and then pedaling out the feet, bending through the knees as we open up through the feet, through the toes. So the back fascia line runs all the way out through the bottoms of the feet. Now let's come back into Tadasana. Do this on the other side. So shift your weight over so the pelvis actually shifts. Take a hold of your left knee and draw the femur, the thigh bone, in toward the torso. Now you can stay here, keeping a hold of your knee. If you want to hook the big toe with your index and middle finger, you can take that option. Take your right hand onto your hip and lengthen out through your left leg. Draw your left shoulder back. Lift up through your standing leg, the inner thigh in particular, the kidney channel, as you open the leg or the knee out. And then you can bring the leg back to the center. Release. And let's bend through the left leg and come to the top of the right toes. Release down into this, opening up through the front of the ankle. And then just pedal out the feet. Opening up through the arches of the feet, down into the toes. Softening through the thighs as you release down. And then as you're ready, inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips to fold forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Bend through your knees, come down to sit. Take your feet out just a bit, lift up through the spine, and roll down through your spine to come onto your back. Bring your knees in, wrap your hands around the front of your ankles, and then bring your feet down so they're just to the outside of your sit bones. Take your hands flat down onto the mat so the heels are between your thumbs and index fingers. And on inhale, take your hips up. Exhale, hips down. Let's move dynamically. Inhaling, let's roll through the spine, coming up into a light bridge. And exhale, roll back down through the spine, bringing the back to the ground. 2 more times, inhaling, rolling through the spine. Exhaling, rolling down. Last time. And now once again, roll through the spine, coming up into bridge. And this time, begin to press down through your feet. Press down through the back of your head. You can interlace the fingers behind your back, walk your shoulders in, and then lengthen through the pinky fingers, press down through the outside of the hands, the pinky fingers through the arms. Press down through your shoulders. And imagine you're squeezing a block between your thighs. So your inner thighs are active, the kidney channel is active, and you're lifting up through your back body. So you're strongly activating through the bladder channel as well. Pressing down through the back of your head so you're strengthening your neck. And then go ahead, release, coming down onto your back. Let's take the left leg out long and hug the right knee in toward the chest. Now it depends on your hamstrings. You can take your hands to the back of your thigh and work dynamically this way. If you want to take a hold of your big toe with your index and middle finger, you can take that option. Wherever you are, if you have the bind, lengthen through the leg and work dynamically. So you take a little bend through the knee and then activate through the front of the thigh to create more space through the hamstrings. If you don't have the bind, have your hand onto the back of the thigh and you're still working the same way. Taking a little bend through the knee, lengthening through the leg. Working with your body where you're at now. Taking care of yourself. Feeling a deeper support from a deeper place. Take your left hand onto your left hip, and you can take the knee or the leg out, keeping the bind if you have it, out to the side, and see if you can keep grounding down through your left hip. It will naturally want to roll up. See if you can keep anchoring down through that hip so you're creating balance through your pelvis. And this can really help stabilize and keep us balanced in our life. And then you can bring the knee, the leg back to the center. If you want to take a hold of the outside of the foot with your left hand, you can take that option, or take a hold of the outside of the knee. Take your right arm out and then twist, taking the knee or the leg out to the left side. Letting the right side of your body open up. And maybe you feel an opening down through the back of your right leg here. You can keep actively reaching down through your left leg as well. And then you can bend through the knee, bring it back to the center, hug that knee in. And let's switch legs. So taking a hold of your left knee, taking your right leg out long, first drawing the femur in toward the torso. And now you can take a hold of the back of your thigh and work dynamically with that hold. You can hook the big toe with your middle and index finger and lengthen through the leg. And either way, begin to work dynamically. So you're bending through the knee. And it's nice to inhale, lengthen through the leg, activate through the front of your thigh. Exhaling as you release, and inhaling as you lengthen. And perhaps as you lengthen, you can draw the femur in even more. If you have the bind, perhaps the leg is working its way toward you, little by little. So we're teaching ourselves how to be gentle, how to meet ourselves where we're actually at, so we aren't burning the candle from both ends, which really, I think a lot of our cultures teach us to do. So it's our job to unlearn that, to rewire that learning so we can create a healthier culture and healthier society for ourselves and for each other by this deeper rewiring within ourselves. And now, whether you have a hold of the leg or the toe, take your right hand onto your hip and see if you can stay balanced through your pelvis. You really have to be active. The pelvic floor has to be active as you take the knee or leg out to the side. The deeper core muscles have to be active to support you here. And then you can bring the knee back to the center. You can take a hold of the outside of the knee or the outside of the foot. Take your left arm out to the side and then twist, opening up through the left side of your body, continuing to reach down through your right leg. And then you can bring the knee back to the center, hug your knee in, release through the psoas. Let's bring the other knee in. And now you can bring your head up toward your knees and wrap your arms around your knees. See if you can take a hold of your elbows with your hands and then release your head down toward the ground. And soften into this. So feel a softening through the hip flexors, through your lower back, letting the shoulders relax down so the upper back can release down and the head can weigh down. And then you can release and take your legs out long to find your way into Shavasana. Getting your shoulders into the back, your arms rested out, your palms facing up. And your feet are dropping out to the side so your legs are completely relaxed. And here, feeling your back body that we've been giving a lot of attention to, its connection with the ground. And feeling the support of the earth holding you right now. And letting yourself rest into that support. Let go into that support. And trusting that relationship. That really ultimately we're a part of something much greater. Like a wave in the ocean. And the more that we can trust that connection, we can trust ourselves, rest into our deeper energy reserves, our vital energy, and stay connected with that vital energy so we're moving from that place. So we don't have to push. Now just take a moment to notice the quality of your energy now. And not just whether you feel stronger, but whether you feel steadier. And really that's the difference between pushing through and building real resilience. If this practice resonated with you, I've created 5 free Meridian yoga practices designed for real life symptoms like low energy, tension, stress, mental and emotional overwhelm. You can find that linked below. They're a great way to understand how different meridian pathways influence how you feel physically, mentally, and emotionally, and have yoga practices to guide you through that release. And if you want new Meridian yoga practices that I'm sharing every week here, make sure that you've subscribed. I'd also love to hear your experience with this practice, what resonated for you most in the practice, your takeaways from it in the comments. This just gives me a better idea of also who I'm teaching here and to get to know you and what works for you so I can better serve you here on YouTube in the future. Thanks so much for taking this time to be present with yourself and to practice with me. I'll see you in the next video.